There are several channels that I subscribe to on YouTube and watch on a regular basis. And one of the channels that I'll watch an episode as soon as a new one comes out is this one right here, Iron Mike Metal Detecting. Mike is a resident in Europe and is doing something that I have always wanted to do, and that is to go out with a metal detector and look for artifacts that were left in the ground after World War II. The stuff that this guy is bringing to the surface is simply amazing. Bombs, old guns, all kinds of different weaponry, different personal items from soldiers of the German side, American side, and British. Really an amazing channel. And the other day, I had a chance to sit down and talk with Mike. I wanted to learn more about what it is that he does and kind of behind the scenes of being a digger on the battlefields of Europe. So, enjoy. Is it showing that it's recording on your end?
No.
It doesn't? Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm showing that it's recording, so I'm going to hope that that's okay. So, but so I guess, like, how long have you been doing the metal detecting thing, or how'd you get started?
No. Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, folks. If you just hopped in, we were already talking for a while now. But JD forgot to press record. We're talking like now for 16 minutes already, and just didn't press record. Now I forgot the question. What did you want to ask? What was the question?
Yeah, so about how long have you been metal detecting, or I guess kind of how'd you get
All
started?
right. Well, to be honest, I can't even remember. It wasn't too long ago. It was like 10 years ago. My son got a metal detector from his grandfather, and it was like a very simple thing. You probably couldn't even find anything with it, but I was so intrigued by the idea that you just can find history with a metal detector. I even thought about it in the past. And I was always a World War II freak. I was a collector at first, but I had some stupid buys. There's a lot of reproduction items going around as originals
Yeah.
on the internet. And I bought some of those, and I felt real stupid, and I just wanted to give up the collecting part. And I thought, why am I not searching for this myself? It's still on the ground. I know that. So why not buy a metal detector and try to start doing this? And it was like, I think 8 to 10 years ago when I started that. And 4 years ago, I started because a lot of people said, hey, Mike, can I come with you? And I want to see what you find, I want to see your adventures. And that's why I actually started making YouTube videos. And yeah, it's been 4 years now. So
Interesting.
things are good. Yeah.
No, it's cool because whenever I watch the videos, there's definitely a lot of anticipation in all of them because you never know what it is that with you guys are going to pull out of the ground. And like you said, there's so much that's left over there. I know on this side of the Atlantic, as a matter of fact, I have a few things that just sit here. People are still digging up Civil War bullets.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I love doing that sometimes. Yeah.
So here, World War II is still fresh. 75 years. There's still a lot in the ground. I'm kind of interested. Now, I'm going to ask questions, and I'll probably sound like an idiot to people who already metal detect. But my level of knowledge is just so low, so I'm kind of wanting to learn. What goes into the preparation, like going to a site? Do you like study maps and troop movements, or is there anything that goes into, I guess, a site selection?
Yeah, as you know, simply because you're a history teacher, it involves a lot of studying. And what people don't see is before we go out, it takes a lot of map studying, book studying, internet, and what we experience right now is the less information you find, the better the spots are.
Hmm.
Simply because all the big spots, all the known spots, like for instance, where you were, in Voy, in Bastogne, it's illegal to metal detect there, but still
Yeah.
a lot of metal detecting is going on there. So I would be surprised if you can find anything there. It's probably already been picked clean.
Right.
So the less information you can find, the better, and that's basically what we do. We try to just read a lot of eyewitness books, the books that have been written, biographies or something, by mainly the soldiers just walking around there. Um, and yeah, that involves a lot of studying, yeah, and logical thinking, how the troops movement were, how uh, certain, especially at certain French and German places, US soldiers would write that in a diary, but they always got it wrong. You've been to you've been to Germany and France, and all the names look alike, but you write it with a K-A-E, and an English soldier or a US soldier would just write a K-A something. It's they misspelled everything, so it's kind of like a puzzle too. So yeah, it involves a lot of studying, a lot of map checking, a lot of reading, trying to find some old, the aerial photography. You have some aerial photography sites
Okay.
which you can check out. So yeah, you can that helps at least. And
Interesting.
of course, just go there. Just go there and try to find something because a lot of times what you see in the videos is not a 1 day trip. It's sometimes multiple days, and we just don't find anything for hours or days even. But what you see in the video is always, of course, the things we find. I'm not going to show you 4 hours of nothing. So
Well,
so yeah, that's basically how it works.
that's something else I was going to ask is like what your success rate is, I guess, for lack of a better term.
My
You
success rate, well, it's it's below zero right now.
know.
Man, it evolved. There have been moments that I just wanted to give up. Really was. When you walk around in a German wood for like by myself for like 3 to 4 days, and it's just raining constantly for 4 days, and you're wet and you're tired and you're cold and you're fed up, and you know. And you don't find anything, you just want to give up, that happens. But it only could take one find to make uh, the best trip ever. That's that's the other side of this great hobby. It
Yeah.
just takes one find to change that all.
So what's been I guess some of the biggest ooh moments for you? Pulling something out of the ground.
Geez, yeah, there's not so many, but what I like finding are just personal items,
Hmm.
and it doesn't even have to be a rare item. It's first of all, of course, that you find it, and the second of the idea is that it doesn't matter what you find, but where you find it. For instance, in the past, I have found a US dime in the middle of a battlefield between German coins, and
Oh
that's
wow.
odd because the Americans never been there, So that must have been a German soldier that had picked it up somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe he fought Americans and he took it as a souvenir, or I don't know. Maybe he went before the war to the United States and brought it home as a souvenir. So, that makes it real special. While a US dime is not that special to find in general, but finding it there at that exact spot, yeah, that makes it special. So yeah, and that's a new moment, right? When you have
Yeah.
like a little silver dime, yeah. A lot of people would be asking why are you so happy with a dime? Well, because I found it in freaking Berlin, where the Germans fought the Russians, yeah.
Well, and it
So
tells a
yeah,
story.
that it. It is, yeah. So I like those stories. I like finding stories. I like the ooh moments are also proving, all the studying that I told you about. It
Mhm.
just sometimes takes hours and days to study, and going there to that spot and find something and proving you're right, proving you did your homework well. So that's a new moment as well, yeah, we found a good spot, So yeah, a lots of ooh moments in Mike's life at those moments in time, and I don't usually show that, but yeah, it's again not what you find, but where you find it.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that, like finding a dime. Like you said, a dime is not worth that much.
No,
There's
it's worth
millions
10
of them.
cents, right?
But whenever there's a story behind it, it gives the item like weight and value. So I was just at a place where a Civil War battle took place. It's called the Battle of Franklin. It was one of the last major battles of the Civil War in the Western Theater. Anyway, I went in this house that's just chewed up by bullets, and there's this old plain chair that
Mm.
really has no value at all. But if you look at the back of it, there's a bullet hole right through it.
Right,
Well,
right.
all of a sudden, that chair has taken on some historical meaning. It's telling a story now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
It
yeah,
wants
I,
you
I
to talk,
completely get completely get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. Yeah, and of course you have other ooh moments as well, again, if you don't find much and just pop out a helmet or something, that a helmet is nice to find, but it's not that rare. But I mean, every German soldier wore one, so,
Yeah.
but it's a mix of things, where you find it, the moment you find it, when you're working on route 3 days without the detector giving one bleep, and you find like a couple of coins, that's nice, it motivates you to carry on. So yeah, and
So the
I'm always
helmets,
overexcited. So what do I find?
the helmets are pretty common then, huh?
Yeah, yes and no, because they are really hard to find now, because well, you have to imagine that from the 80s, 90s on,
Hmm.
people have been metal detecting, especially the known spots.
Yeah.
So if you do find a helmet, it's very deep. You have to have a bit of luck, and it has to be very deep, because the helmets there were right on the surface, all gone. Because again, there's been metal detecting there for like 40 years or something. So you have the occasional luck. My friends, especially on the Eastern Front, have sometimes a bit of luck. They find a stack of them.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they were probably left behind in a foxhole after the war. Um, but yeah, they are becoming more rare. That's true. Yeah.
So do you ever work with, wherever we're talking about like preparation, do you ever like get tips or advice from locals where they say, oh yeah, my grandpa had this farm,
Yeah.
and he told me that, the Americans or British or whatever came through. Do you get like some local advice as well to help
Yeah.
you kind of guide your
Especially because
detecting?
we try to to get permission from the landowner.
Mhm.
They are mostly very interested in what you're doing. So they come up with all these stories they heard from their fathers or neighbors or something. And yeah, we do get tips a lot of times from the locals, who try to help out. They can see our passion um, about this subject and our respect,
Mhm.
but also the fact that they have there are a lot of illegal diggers out there, just
Yeah.
wandering around the woods and picking things up. And even when they find explosives, you just put it against a tree and leave it there. It's very dangerous, and they
Yeah.
didn't even bother reporting it. But when you just show the owners that you're serious about this, and you're willing to simply report things like bombs and ammunition. And of course, leave everything tidy as it is, and
Right.
take away the trash and such. And yeah, show a kind of respect. Then, well, you get a lot of information. Then yeah, because people are excited about it. They see that you like it and enjoy it, and yeah. So we get a lot of help on locals nowadays, and it expands. I've been coming to especially the Berlin area for like 10 years now, and I've
Mhm.
met a lot of people. You know, a couple of them became friends, and they helped me out with permissions, and you know, it grows. And actually, I don't even have time to go past all the sites they come up with right now. So
That's a good problem
that's
to have.
it is, yeah. But it is a problem still because we can't travel right now because of the virus. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have to wait. Well, it's been there for 70 years or more, so it's gonna wait some years to come. You know, I'll
You
be okay.
you mentioned like some of the bombs or unexploded ordnance. Um, is there a risk factor in what you're
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, of course. Yeah. But the thing is that as long as you treat it carefully, you know, and I try not to move it around too much. The thing is, and I promised my wife that I wouldn't be even picking it out of the hole anymore.
Uh,
What I used to do is just, you know, I just dug it up and lay it on the ground for just a sec, you know, shoot a picture and make a video and put it back. I'm not doing that anymore. I just leave it in the ground now. Sometimes I just, you know, make a picture of it or video
yeah.
it as it's laying in the ground. But I should stop doing that because it's really dangerous. Um, so yeah, there is a risk, of course, but I don't know. You want to come to Amsterdam one day, right? You told me
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Definitely.
I've driven over a bike on Amsterdam, and that's far more dangerous than going out metal detecting in the woods. I can promise you that. But you know, if you just be careful, it's okay. You know, I've never heard of a metal detectorist blowing himself up, except for people who bring it, you know, bring the explosive home and put it in like a grinder or something, and you know, yeah, try to disarm it themselves and stuff. That's yeah, that's, you know, if you do that, yeah, it's gonna go off
That sounds
probably.
like an
So
awful idea.
well, you have a lot of people doing that, yeah.
Oh my
You have these
gosh.
ammunition collectors that actually go out and search for ammunition, and well, those are the guys you don't want to hang around with, you know.
Holy
But
smokes, man.
yeah, but the also the guys that give us a bad name, you know,
Right.
just leave that stuff where it is and just report it, and you know, you're gonna make the landowner happy with it, so why not?
Yeah. I've oh, what's the name for it? In France, I think the term that I've heard is the iron harvest, where every year, whenever farmers go out and plow, they plow up,
Right.
you know, these old ordnance and bombs, and every once in a while you hear about them
Yeah.
going off. Um,
Yeah, yeah. There have been accidents with farmers, especially in the you know, the areas where the First World War was fought. Um, those are the areas where a lot of explosives are very shallow
mm,
on the shallow ground, you know, and they plow them up and they go off. And even sometimes then when they harvest the potatoes will be processed in a factory, and they come across a mine or a grenade every now and then.
oh my
You read
gosh,
that a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot.
really?
Yeah, yeah, true.
Holy cow. Have you gone
But
down
also
and
the accidents has been happened with farmers, you know, plowing their fields and just bombs going off. It's
yeah, I've heard
but
of
it takes
that.
a lot of force to set off a bomb. So yeah.
Wow. Have you made it down to any of those World War One battle sites?
No, no, no. I don't know. It's somehow I'm afraid to do that. I don't know why, because
Yeah.
I dig a lot of World War II bombs, but I don't really trust the World War One bombs. I don't know why that is, because well, you know how many bombs and artillery rounds were fired in World War One.
Yeah.
It's humongous, you know. And then I don't even know if you can find anything between other than bombs, you know,
Hmm.
at World War One sites. To be honest, I don't
Huh.
know. It's not my cup of tea. I'm the World War Two metal detectorist, you know.
Oh
And
man.
by the way, I have been in metal detecting on a field where there was, you know, it was close to a World War One battlefield, and we found a lot of these little small lead balls, and I always thought they were like old rifle bullets or something. But they actually were like fragmentation grenades from World War One. So we've been finding all over the place these little lead balls.
Holy smokes.
So it was not even able to metal detect there. So many of these little balls there. Yeah.
Holy cow. That is crazy. Yeah, you just
So
have to
don't
wonder,
go out detecting World War One battlefields. It's not worth it.
really. It just because there's so much, it's dangerous and there's so much trash in the ground.
So much ammunition, so
Yeah.
much trash and bomb shrapnel. It's well, to me, it's not interesting, but there are probably people commenting right now saying I'm wrong. But
Oh man. Now, a lot of stuff that I've seen you dig up on your channel is like, German items and stuff like that. I think one of the recent videos that I watched of yours, you guys found like I guess it was a trash pit or something like that. It had a bunch of
right.
plates and pottery and things like that. Um, do you ever get any pushback from people who basically say that all of the Nazi stuff needs to be destroyed or anything like that, or anybody that has had, I guess, negative
Um,
opinions about it?
Yeah, sure. I have a lot of people, especially in the beginning. Lately, it's becoming a bit more quiet, but in the beginning, I have these right extremist guys, asking me all these questions, and I don't like that, man. I'm not in any way related to fascism or
Yeah,
extreme right. To me, just a bunch of idiots. If you haven't been learning from our history right now, then don't even bother asking me that.
right.
But there are some people who complain about us destroying history in a way because, we're not archaeologists. We're not there with a brush, making squares from little wires and brushing everything off. And we're just digging.
Yeah,
And every now and then we tend to dig things up that are busted or broken. And well, sometimes people respond to that, you're destroying history. No, I'm not. I'm digging it up.
well, yeah,
But
I think it's important. I mean, what you're doing too, because I mean, if it's in the ground,
mm,
nobody's learning from that. Um,
no,
so I think that, yeah, what you're doing is an important thing. I think you mentioned like illegal diggers. I think that there are people that probably abuse it and probably give the I guess, would you call it sport or whatever, give it a bad
mm,
name.
mm.
Um, but yeah. So do you I guess, like, from a historical standpoint, do you kind of keep a log of where you have found things? I mean, I know you wouldn't want to publicize it because you don't want people to go and, you know,
Like my
trespass
treasure
and
map.
use these spots,
Yeah.
but like for
Mm.
historical record.
Yeah, we do. Not even for well, it's more that we know ourselves where everything is, and of course, there if there is an archaeologist out there who says, I want to have some local info about that, a local archaeologist or something, I wouldn't mind sharing that, not at all. But of course, you have to be careful with the information you give out, simply because we've been struggling with a lot of illegal diggers coming there after we've been there. That they find out where you were, and I told you that in the introduction, before you press the record, that
Yeah.
we have a lot of. The more information I give out in the video, the bigger the chances that illegal diggers will come there without permission. We have had that in the past, that we were on a field metal detecting there. People found out because I probably gave out too much information where it was. They came there, destroyed the crops. The owner was furious,
Yeah.
and I felt bad, or we felt bad. So yeah, that's difficult. I want to share information. I want to make videos like you do with the passion, and show what I've been finding during my homework, and actually proving I'm right about that. That's also nice, you know. Acknowledging that, hey, Mike, you did a good job there. I wish I could. I really do, but I can't. It's simply because, first of all, to protect our own spots. You know, we want to come back there one day. Second of all, to not mess things up with the owner and not have it, people picking it clean and leaving huge holes in the ground and bombs at the side of the trees and such. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to. We don't want. We don't want to do that. And so although I want to give out information, I can't.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. Definitely.
But I do have a treasure map. You know, I have a big map with all the little pins in it. So.
Well, I mean, and that's that's a record that, who knows in the future who might benefit from that, where they can go back and say, oh, okay, well, you can maybe kind of trace movements, because I mean, like I said earlier, we're only 75 years removed from the end of the war. Somebody 200 years from now, I mean, that might be just a piece of historical gold to them to have that information.
Yeah, well, I'll promise you, I'll hand it over to my son when he's when I'm old and sitting in a wheelchair or something. I will pass it on. I promise you.
Now, you also do magnet fishing as well, don't you?
Yeah, not a lot, because I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, you know. Standing there in like little tights and just pressing a magnet around it. No, it's not my thing. But I have been doing it with my buddy. Yeah.
Okay. Over here, I don't know if it's that really well known. What magnet fishing is. I didn't actually know until I watched one of your videos, and it looked pretty darn cool. Can you explain just what magnet fishing is?
Well, sure. Basically, you just have a big, very strong magnet. What they used to do is put a rope on it and just toss it in a river or a canal or something, and try to sweep it across the river floor and trying to get things out. But what we actually notice is that things, especially the older stuff, tends to sink down in the ground, in the bedding of the river or the canal. So you have to put the magnet basically on a stick and just press it through the mud and try to find something. You can do it with a metal detector. This is like a waterproof metal detector I have right here, so you can use that in the water and add a magnet to it. If you have a signal, just press the magnet in the ground and try to get something out. But it's a dirty job, especially in these little creeks and little lakes, and in these wooded lakes. It's just a dirty job. So it's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. I leave it to the youngsters,
Whenever with the magnet fishing, that seems like it would be even more of a low probability success rate than metal detecting. So are you kind of like looking for areas where you found stuff on the ground and then go to the canals or the rivers?
Yeah, right. That's basically it. Okay. For instance, there's a lot of magnet fishing going on in the market garden area, what we talked about earlier. And the thing is that because it's the finds have been in the water for many years, free of oxygen, they're in very good condition. So if you do find a weapon or a helmet, it's bound to be in very good condition, even with the paint layer still on it and still visible. So,
oh my gosh,
it does, have its reward for getting it out of the rivers and water instead of out of the ground.
Now, I don't know what the laws and regulations are there in the Netherlands. Do you have to report that? I know that your gun laws are a little bit different than our gun laws. Do you have to report whenever you find any?
If you find a working gun, yeah. If you find a working gun, you have to report it. Yeah.
Okay. How often is it? I mean, is that even a possibility to find a working gun in the
Well,
ground?
if you do metal detect or magnet fishing, you could find a possible working gun, of course. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Um, I have seen guns coming out of lakes and such. They're actually put in a little bath with oil and such, and still be able to work. Yeah,
Oh,
but in the ground you probably won't be able to
right.
find that because it's gonna get rusted away. It's
Yeah.
and I have the laws here in the Netherlands are very strict. If you have a gun, you have to report it. But I know they don't bother you very much. If you have like a rusted piece of K98 barrel or something, they won't be bothered. But ammunition is a different thing. We can have an ammunition here. You can carry ammunition. So if we find ammunition, we have to just leave it and basically report it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I wouldn't have expected that. Huh.
Well, yeah, if you're walking around with ammunition in your bag, with live ammunition, yeah, you're gonna have a problem. If you don't have the right licenses, you have a problem. And that's the same in France and Belgium and Germany. It's all over Europe basically.
Huh.
You can't carry ammunition. So I got a lot of requests from Americans saying, "Hey, Mike, send me that ammunition. I want it." No, man, I can't even bring it out of the forest. So no, I can't do that. I wish I could, but I can't.
Have you ever found anything that like identified a specific soldier, like dog tags that had a name on them or anything like that?
I did found that was a nice find. A U.S. dog tag.
Oh, wow.
I found it in a POW camp in France. There was this camp where they gathered all the German prisoners after the war,
Uh-huh.
and the Americans just want to find out who the real Nazis were, and to get them before trial and such. So I found a U.S. dog tag with a German name on it, and later turned out it was handed out to the Germans. So the U.S. dog tags were handed out to the Germans just to identify them in the camps. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. So it took me a while to find that out because I thought, I know when you find a U.S. dog tag, it's traceable.
Yeah.
You can read the name, of course, and trace the family. In Germany, that's not possible. The dog tag had already had a number and a name stamped on it, a unit name, and then it was given out to a person. So it's not traceable because it doesn't have a name on it, and German privacy laws are very strict, so you can't trace the relatives and such.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
We have been trying in the past, but you don't get permission to do that simply because of their laws and privacy laws.
Wow. So even though most of the soldiers have most likely passed on, they still protect that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's hard to find again because if you find a U.S. dog tag, there's a name on it and of course a number and such.
Yeah.
But on the German dog tag, there's not even a name on it. Yeah, the unit name is on there, but you cannot trace the person behind it. When it was handed out that dog tag.
I'll be darned. Interesting.
We
Huh.
learned something today.
Always learning something. Oh, shoot. Well, I think that's all that I had in my head as far as questions go. Man, I think, like I said, your channel is incredibly fascinating to me. I love watching it.
Likewise, I've told you in the intro before you press record. I really enjoy your channel too. And congrats on the 50,000 subscribers.
Oh,
You passed right now.
thanks. It's a complete accident. I don't know how it happened.
No, that's great. No, you deserved it, man. trust me, you really have a good channel. You have good videos, and enjoy your, your excitement and your passion for history. You can see that, you can tell that you have a passionate, you have a big passion for history.
Well,
So yeah,
likewise, you
it
can
shows.
tell that what you're doing is coming from a very pure place, and that you enjoy it
Thank
too.
you.
So, all right, man, cool.